for that one. Yes, thank you. Rolo, can you please disprove the narrative that the reason women choose independence due to majority of men being abusers and cheaters? Yes. Oh, would you like me to do that right now? I think I will. So here's the point. So why is it that women want that independence? Because they are concerned about like cheaters. And okay, so Tom, start the clip here. What I see happen is this. I'll watch, like, say, Allie from Real Fem Sapien. I'll watch her viral video that's up and on like TikTok or something, and everybody takes off with it because it rubs women the wrong way. How dare she try to influence, because there is an influencer, how dare she try to influence women to be submissive to men? How dare she? How dare you? Wait, there's a go. How dare you? How dare you try to tell women to defer to men's authority? I can't believe you would suggest such a thing, you know? And the reason why they get really up in their feels about that is because it conflicts with women's innate, I think, hindbrain, lizard brain understanding that they need long-term security. And to get to long-term security, women have to trade sexual agency and their power, whatever it is, their potential, their personal potential has to be traded for long-term security. Now, in an era when, well, actually multiple eras and decades, really 4 generations of which, in that time, since the sexual revolution, and that's where I usually start things, as you know, in that time, we have systematically convinced and socially engineered generation after generation of 4 generations of women to fear men, men are untrustworthy sons of bitches. They are potential abusers. They are potential cheaters. They are potential potential abusers. They're potential incompetents, right? They're Homer Simpsons. Men are so stupid and ignorant, and they need women to save them from themselves. They don't know. They can't get in touch with their feelings. They are the toxic masculinity, this and whatever else, right? They need to get in touch with their emotions and express themselves. And if they were more like women like us, then they'd be more acceptable. But you can't trust them. And you certainly can't trust them either because they're abusers or they're cheaters or they're incompetent or they're doofy Homer Simpson dads that need us to help them out. You can't. All of those are really bad options and really bad mental models for women when it comes to, can I trust this guy with my life? Can I trust him to actually be on board with where I think I need to be in the future? And if I can't trust him with that, how the hell am I supposed to trust him as the parent of my child for the rest of my life? And that's why when women say, well, you should have a job and you should have like backup plans. That's how you get like plan B guys, by the way. But you need something to fall back on because you never know if he's going to take up with his hot secretary once he makes partner in the law firm like Mad Men. You never know because he could die. You never know because he could turn into an abusive son of a bitch. He might turn into an alcoholic. He might turn into think that just being a plumber for the rest of his life is just good enough. And you're going to be stuck in the Midwest somewhere. And you're going to come home and find him drinking beer on the couch or whatever. And he's going to be unresponsive and he's not going to, love you and not like take care of you that's the thing. He's not a good choice for long-term security. And even if he looks like it now, he has a potential for it now, and you want to defer to that and you want to hey, I'm just going to stay home and take care of the babies and you're going to go out and make the money and everything. Even in the best case scenario, women are still saying, well, you still got to have a side hustle. You got to have your money. And the reason why is because they're fearful. They're very fearful that they're getting with Homer Simpson, the borderline abuser, the incompetent guy, whoever. Because you can't trust men. Well, if that's the case for the last raising little girls since they're 5 years old, that on independence and egalitarianism, of course they're going to be scared. Of course, that's going to be the first thing in their mind. I would never want to do that. I'm better than Allie because I trust myself and I got to make sure that, he's on point. And if he's never on point, then at least I can get rid of him and I can still be okay because I save my money for a rainy day or some shit like that. And I mean that in the sense of like a figurative sense, right? It could be actually the money too, right? You can't trust men. Don't trust. Never do anything for the express pleasure of a man. That's the prime directive of feminism. It has been since Gloria Steinem and Betty Friedan. Never do anything for a man. Even Jedediah says exactly the same thing. I do this for me, because doing it for anyone else would be doing it for a man, or would be doing it so that you look better, or you're competing with women for what? For men's attention. Well, I do it for me. No, you don't. You do it for your man. I would be. That's why I said this. And we never got to this, by the way, in the Jedediah show. But I got to that point where it's like, I would be pissed if I was Jeremy as her husband, at least in that sense. Right. Because like, what do you do for me? How do you show appreciation for me? How do you show your love for me? Oh, well, we sit down and we talk about whether I love you or not. No, there are. How do you do that? What are your visual, behavioral, attitudinal manifestations of that? Yeah, well, then you're doing it for him. I even called this out on Ruslan. Ruslan's like, oh, well, we want to be against the world, right? That's his whole, you can be in the world, but you can't be of the world, right? And we're a counterculture, and you're telling guys to go along with the culture, and I'm telling them to go against. No, you're not. The very fact that you got fucking Air Jordans on, that to me says that that's what you're in the culture, my friend, and that's what you want guys to take away from that. You're wearing 2 Apple Watches, by the way, and I know why now. I'll tell you why here in just a second. But you wasn't 2 Apple Watches. You're in the culture, my friend. You're there with your tablet, having guys stream, text and the next talking point to you from the other room. You're in the culture because you're getting it fed to you live in real time, man. The very fact that you got merch on, you're in the culture. You're doing it for other people. Not just you might think that you're a rebel. No one is a rebel today, by the way. That's why I said, if people weren't in the culture, like all these guys that you look up to, they'd be in punk bands, man. They would be like there's no, that you can't get away from that. We're social animals. But trying to explain that to people because they're invested in this idea that their ideology or their belief set is in some way rebellious or some way new or novel. Or like, I'm on the right side of history. You'll hear that from the woke. And then from the other side, from Tradcons, you'll say, well, God wants me to do this and virtue this and values that. That this is the same thing. Like for the woke religion, it's just like, well, I want to be on the right side of history. Well, you want to be immortalized for being doing the right thing at the right time. And God, and on the right, it's like, well, I want to go to heaven. I want God to be pleased with me. Well, one or the other. You're in the culture. Seriously, that's how it works. And that's why I said, like when Jedediah was talking about, I do this for me. No, you don't. It's the same thing. It's like you care about what people think about you. And there's nothing wrong with that, as I've said before. But somehow we think that we're more independent mavericks and we're somehow special because we think, outside the box. And you can still do that, but the box is still the culture. You have to think outside the box. You have to know what the fuck the box is in the first place. So don't give me this shit about like, oh, I dress for myself and I do these things. And I would be pissed off if my wife said, well, I don't dress for Rolo. You're goddamn right. She if I've said, hey, go wear some lingerie and walk in this room right now, she would go and do that. Hey, I want to see you. I'm not going to say that. I want her to do that on her own. I want to walk home and, find her waiting for me and hey, it's been a long week, baby. Like, yeah, it has. Let's go. Show me that you appreciate me. Oh, you wore that lingerie? Who'd you wear it for? You're vacuuming the house when I come home? No, you're wearing it because you want to get after it. As soon as I walk in the door, I get off a 14-hour flight. Good. That's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing to be ashamed of that. You appreciate the man that you're with. That's okay. I'll do it for myself. Well, why is that so shameful to do it for someone else? Why? I wish there had been a Red Pill College course when I was, Hello there, children. How's it going? I do my best, man. Thank you very much. Yeah, I probably would. I've had people tell me about that too. We need to get your book in the libraries. Some guys are doing that. You know what I want you guys to do? I got a plan for you. Let me read this real quick. Do you remember old school WordPress blog called Solve My Girl Problems? Yes, I do. Was it Good Looking Loser who did that? I can't remember. He's no longer around. The author went by, it's Shark. Okay. And he introduced me to you, Roosh Royce. That's how I found out a bad break in high school. Good. Thank you. A bad breakup, I would presume is what you meant. All right. So here's what I want you guys to do. All right, my evil minions. I need you to do something for me. Do you have in your neighborhood? Do you have like one of these like little local like libraries? It's like it's usually like looks like a little house or something.